Welcome to this video. We will be discussing the Wolverhampton Taxi Knowledge Test about safeguarding vulnerable passengers, specifically safeguarding children and vulnerable adults. We will talk about what safeguarding is, the key terminology you will be using, and what you need to do in your test to get the best answers to pass. The original Wolverhampton Knowledge Test has 28 questions, and you need 21 correct answers. Let's get started. Your first lesson is about identifying vulnerable passengers. This is done by understanding the indicators of risk. You will need to research these things, identify the source, sources of advice and ways of reporting these concerns to people, and understand the roles and responsibilities in relation to the personal safety and security of all passengers. This is vital because of the criminal elements. Having researched these things, you should know that your job is to see the risks, understand them, and report them. It's called whistleblowing, and it's what the police expect you to do. To help you develop your skills, we will look at different scenarios. Scenario number 1. You pick up a man and a woman from a local restaurant. As they get into your car, the man yells at the woman, who is crying. As you drive to her home address, the man hits the woman in the face. What would you do? The right thing to do would be to ask permission. You do not interfere. You ask for permission. Say to the woman, "Excuse me, do you need help?" And then she might say, "No, thank you, I'm fine." So do not interfere. But make sure you get a description, such as how close you were and what you were doing when you picked them up. What happened when you dropped them off? Then report it to the police and let them investigate. You are not the investigator. You are a taxi driver, a professional. Okay? Scenario number 2. You work in the city center and often pick up passengers from pubs and clubs. You notice that at weekends there are often many young people coming out of a nightclub who appears to be drunk and underage. As you arrive to pick up your passenger, you see a young girl leaving the premises. The girl appears to be about 14 or 15 years old and is very drunk. She is with 3 much older men and the group is walking towards your car. What would you do? The best thing to do would be to call the police or ask the girl if she needs help. So you are asking for permission and you are reporting it. Remember this. Don't get involved. Don't refuse to take them. Don't tell them or create a situation that could lead to a confrontation, because that's not your job. You are not professionally trained to confront people. That's the job of the police. And you never know this girl. It could be her uncle. It could be her family. But she is still young and drunk. So you must report it. These are the ideas you must go through. Scenario number 3. An elderly lady approaches to your taxi at the local supermarket. She has a lot of luggage and a walking stick. She seems to be in pain when she walks. What would you do? You are responsible for getting her luggage, picking it up, putting it in the bag and opening the car door. Close the door, drive her to a destination, get her luggage from the car, walk her to the front door and open the door for her. Do not enter a house when you drop her off, even if she asks you to. Say, "I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to go inside the house. This is because you don't know what's in the house. You might go into the house and she might start screaming. You could take her inside the house. There might be someone inside. Leave her outside the house. Go back to your taxi. Get on with your work." Scenario number 4. You know that one of your colleagues regularly picks up a 14-year-old girl from a children's home and takes her to a local hotel. What would you do? Do not confront the taxi driver or your colleague. Instead, tell the police or the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH. If you know there is a 14-year-old girl going to a local hotel, A lot of alarm bells should go off for you. You should protect this child. That is your responsibility as a professional and as an adult. Throughout all this, you should understand your responsibilities, such as duty of care. Make sure vulnerable people are safe. Duty to disclose information if you are concerned about abuse or neglect. Treating all passengers with dignity and respect. Whistleblowing. Other drivers, other services, club staff. Be responsible and vigilant because criminals are using taxis to avoid prosecution. That's what the police have discovered, and without your help, they will keep doing it. And if you don't report it, the police don't know. They cannot do anything. It's your responsibility. So, we need to be aware that some people are being harmed by the abuse of others. And when that happens, we need to act. Safeguarding is everybody's business and needs to be understood. So, this would come up again and again in your examinations. Let's talk about the different types of abuse. Physical abuse. Physical abuse is like hitting someone. Psychological or emotional abuse, like telling someone they are not good enough or telling yourself that you are not good enough. Organizational, like when a passenger gets into your car and you drive them somewhere else. They get out of your car, get into another car or taxi and drive away. They are organized. They are being trafficked. Watch it and report it. Self-neglect. This abuse can happen to you. You should make sure you stay positive. Modern slavery, like they have just arrived in the UK for a better life and their passport has been taken away. Now they cannot leave. Financial or material abuse. The money is not in their hands. It's in someone else's hands. And the money is only used when it is needed. As you can see, one person is very well dressed. They could be wearing a suit and another person is dirty and filthy, which should also set off your alarm bells. Discriminatory. Discriminatory abuse is where you discriminate against them because they are wearing a hijab or their skin is white or brown, etc. Neglect and omission. For example, you see a person complaining about being hungry or in pain, but the other person does not listen. Report this as it could be a deeper issue that you can uncover and help the child, person, or vulnerable adult. Domestic violence. We just look at this in the scenarios. A man or woman strikes a man or a woman. That's domestic violence and you need to report it. Here are some indicators that, if you see them, should raise concerns about children under 18, relationships with older men or women, concern that the young person is sexually active, disengagement from family, friends, or work, not attending school, missing from home, spending more time on social networking sites, experimenting with drugs and or alcohol. If you smell or see drugs in your car, report it. Children with physical injuries. If a child gets into your car and has a bruise on their arm, report it. Being secretive. If they are being secretive and not talking, report it. Involved in abusive behavior. They swear or they are being racially abusive. They may just be crying out for help, and you need to report it. Unexplained mobiles or credit. These kids have 2 or 3 phones. Report this. Taking lifts in different cars. If you drop a child off in a field and they get into another car and drive away, report it. Sending or receiving inappropriate pictures. If you know they are receiving inappropriate images, report it. If you know a child should be at school but they are in your taxi, report it. These reports would be useful.
Thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this.